A couple of years ago, I reviewed just about every film from New Line Cinema's The Conjuring Universe, except one, and it was this film right here, in which I will be seeing its sequel real soon as well. So prepare yourselves as I review The Nun.
Big T's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews.
So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Noel, better known to as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 2018 gothic supernatural horror flick, The Nun, released by Warner Bros. For New Line Cinema, directed by Corin Hardy, and written by Gary Dauberman, from a story co-wrote with James Wan, director of the first two installments of the Conjuring series, a spiritual spin-off to the second film and the fifth overall installment in the Conjuring shared universe. So this was part of the Conjuring series. Now, I did make a slight error and found and learned that the film that came out after this, The Curse of La Llorona, which came out the following year, was only connected to the Conjuring series, but it was not part of the shared universe, so it didn't count. So this was the only film in the Conjuring series I hadn't seen until recently. But anyway, the film stars Taissa Farmiga, which is Vera Farmiga's sister, along with Demian Bichir, Jonas Bloquet, and Bonnie Aarons as the titular character, the demon nun, an incarnation of Valak from the second Conjuring film. Now, the plot follows a Roman Catholic priest and a nun in her novitiate, or I'm sorry if I mispronounced this word, as they uncover an unholy secret in 1952 Romania. So this, along with its sequel, which came out not so long ago, well, are precursors to The Conjuring. The film was released in September of 2018. It came out on the 7th, 3 days after it premiered at the TCL Chinese Theater. However, it just it was and it but despite it got mixed and what have you with its reviews, well, I just gonna say it's probably not my favorite. But let's get into the story. In 1952 Romania, two nuns living at the Saint Cartha's monastery are attacked by an unseen evil force. The surviving nun, Sister Victoria, flees from the attacker, a demon appearing as a nun, and hangs herself. Her body is discovered by Frenchy, a villager who transports supplies to the nuns. The Vatican sends Father Burke with Sister Irene, a nun er novitiate. No, wait, novitiate. That's probably how you say it. Again, if I mispronounce it, I apologize. To Romania to investigate. The pair meets Frenchie, discover Victoria's body, and take a key from her corpse. Inside the abbey, they meet the abbess, who informs them that the nuns observe silence during the night, so they need to return the next day. That night, Burke is rescued by Irene after being buried alive in the graveyard by the demonic entity. The next day, Irene and Burke return to the abbey, but only Irene can enter as it is cloistered. She meets the other nuns and learns that they are praying constantly, swapping in shifts to keep the entity at bay. The abbey was built in the Dark Ages as a castle for the Duke of St. Carta, a powerful aristocrat obsessed with the occult. The Duke summoned the demon through a rift in the catacombs, but was killed by Christian knights, who sealed the rift with a vial filled with the blood of Christ. However, the bombings during World War II reopened the rift, unleashing the entity. Burke identifies the demon as Valak and discovers the abbess has been dead all along. Irene is attacked by Valak and joins the nuns in prayer to ward it off. When she reunites with Burke and Frenchie, she discovers that none of the nuns she had seen and talked to were real, and she had been praying alone. Sister Victoria had in fact been the last nun in that abbey and had sacrificed herself to stop Valak from possessing her. Now for the ending. As always, you know the procedure. You have 5 seconds to stop this video. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below. If you've seen the movie already, please continue. Okay, you've been warned. Theorizing that Valak can only be stopped if they seal the rift again with the blood of Christ from the reliquary, excuse me, the same way the knights did. The trio retrieves the vial with Victoria's key. Irene asks Burke to elevate her status to a professed nun, which he does. In the tunnel, she is possessed by Valak, but Frenchie smears the blood of Christ on her face, casting out the demon. Valak starts to drown in her in a flooded chamber. Irene, who had kept some of Christ's blood from the vial in her mouth, spits it into the demon's face, banishing it as the rift is sealed. Frenchie resuscitates Irene and reveals his real name is Maurice. Unbeknownst to the others, during the attack, Maurice was possessed by Valak. 20 years later, at a university seminar in Wakefield, Massachusetts, Carolyn Perron watches as Ed and Lorraine Warren present footage of their attempt to exorcise a possessed older Maurice. Maurice grabs Lorraine, showing her a vision of Ed dying, which initiates the Warrens' investigation of the Perron farmhouse haunting, which, of course, that would be leading into the second Conjuring film. End of story. So, what did I think of The Nun? Well, I will say it was alright and what have you. It's not quite that scary that I would have anticipated. Now, critics did like the performances of the cast and the atmosphere, but criticized its weak narrative and inconsistent logic when it was released. But it's still probably one of the lowest ranked on there. Rotten Tomatoes has it at 24%, saying that the film boasts strong performances, spooky atmospherics, and a couple decent set pieces, but its sins include inconsistent logic and narrative slackness. Yes, I do agree with the critics on that. They are right. It does have a good spooky atmosphere and what have you, and pretty good performances, but I agree its story is kind of yeah. The Irish Times wrote, to compare it to a ghost train would be to understate the narrative cohesion that habitually governs those seaside entertainments. Agreed, and what have you. Yeah, I will say this is probably my least favorite. The Conjuring universe. I'd say it's my second least favorite, just right ahead of Annabelle. Nevertheless, the film did pretty well and became the highest grossing film of the Conjuring universe, making 365 million worldwide, and would go on to have a sequel that recently came out last month, which I will be reviewing on Halloween Eve, I believe, or maybe Halloween morning. Stay tuned and find out details to follow. Now, its score was done by Abel Korzeniowski. And if I mispronounce that, I apologize as well. Which I thought was pretty good and what have you. Now, as for our cast, Demian Bichir played Father Burke. And I'm going to say he was pretty good. And Jonas Bloquet played Frenchie. We had Ingrid Basu as Sister Oana and Charlotte Hope as Sister Victoria. They were good. But I really but Bonnie Aarons was pretty creepy as the nun. But I actually really like Taissa Farmiga's performance as Sister Irene. I think I didn't realize that she was sister to Vera Farmiga, who of course you know played Lorraine Warren in the Conjuring films. Anyway, and of course the real Lorraine Warren passed away early the following year after this was released. So anyway. I am going to say that The Nun, while not the best of the Conjuring universe, I will say it was fine, what have you. Okay, now I did say I accidentally said the second one, but that footage they used at the end was actually from the first film because we see Lily Taylor appear as well. I almost forgot to mention, which reminds me, speaking of that little footage we saw from that clip from The Conjuring, I actually rewatched The Conjuring the other day, and if you watch closely of that, I didn't mention this in my review of it. I actually saw the real Lorraine Warren in like an uncredited cameo in a scene in The Conjuring. So anyway, well, it may not have great narrative and logic and what have you, but did have a good atmosphere and great performances. The Nun's okay and all, but would I recommend it? Well, I'd say give it a one-time watch. And if you're not satisfied, then just skip it and continue with The Conjuring, okay? So, what did you think of The Nun? Let me know in the comments section below. If you liked the video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. And stay tuned. Next time, I'll be bringing to you my Saturday morning TV log of the 1973 Addams Family animated series. So I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, check out my reviews of these other films. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of The Conjuring. The upper right-hand corner is my review of its sequel, The Conjuring 2. Or if you would like a little more spine-tingling supernatural feels, go to the bottom left-hand corner and see my recent review of Dario Argento's Mother of Tears. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe if you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc. Then I'm your guy. Thank you for watching, and I will have a spoiler-free review of The Nun 2 coming up next week. So until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.